Hello. Hi, everybody. Ophi here from the AstroTwins with your March monthly horoscope, Mercury Retrograde edition, because as we know today, Mercury, the planet of communication, technology, travel, information, is going retrograde for the first time in 2019. So this is a live simulcast on Facebook and Instagram because I was born during Mercury retrograde, so maybe I'm getting a little cocky here, but I'm going to double down on the technology so we can warn as many people as possible. No, I'm kidding, but inform as many people as possible at once about what is going to be happening in the stars for the next few weeks. So hi, Edward. Hi, Darcy. Hi, Nikki on Facebook. And as you come on, love to hear your zodiac sign and where you're tuning in from. So I know March is going to be an interesting month to begin with. Mercury is going retrograde in a few minutes, so I tried to time this broadcast accordingly. But tomorrow, March 6th, or if you're watching the playback of this, on March 6th, 2019, we have a Pisces new moon and a really, really big thing happening. Uranus, the planet of innovation, radical change, technology also, society, progress, is going to be moving into Taurus for the first time in 77 years. So it was there briefly, May to November of last year, but it really hasn't been there since 1942. So this is a history-shaping transit because Uranus takes 84 years to completely go through an entire cycle through all the signs and return to each sign. So if you're a Taurus and you're watching this, this is a really cool time for you to come out and innovate. You are going to be leading the charge with us, but we're all going to feel that. So tomorrow, Uranus goes into Taurus. Today, Mercury turns retrograde. Both of those planets are associated with technology. So some of you guys have probably already been feeling the vibes of Mercury retrograde stationing, as it's called. So there is what's called a shadow period, which is a couple of weeks before and a couple of weeks after each retrograde. So it's kind of a retrograde occurs when the planets are all moving, and then at a certain point, 3 or 4 times a year, the Earth outpaces Mercury, and it creates the illusion, like if you're in a car that's going faster than another one and it looks like the other car is going backwards. So as we're looking up at the sky and watching the planets go through our zodiac, which is the imaginary ring in the sky above us, not imaginary for its effects, but that's how our zodiac works. So it will appear that Mercury is actually moving backwards. It's an optical illusion. But as we measure the path of each planet moving forward, when that happens, it looks like Mercury's stepping backwards. So everything that Mercury rules feels like it's going backwards. And hey, everybody who's coming on, lots of love right back to you from all over the world. I love it. All the signs, all the continents representing. So, and Tali would have loved to be here, but she is defying Mercury retrograde by taking a vacation in Mexico. But hey, maybe running away during Mercury retrograde is not a bad thing. So as Mercury is going quote unquote backwards, we feel that we feel the effects. So the day that it actually goes retrograde is what's called, and when it ends, it's almost like when you slam on the brakes and it's like, whoop. So how'd you like that move? So you might already start to feel later today things getting a little mixed up and around. Now it's going to be retrograde in Pisces this time. Someone's saying that they actually are having a good day. Well, it's not fully retrograde yet officially, but I hope that continues. That was very ominous sounding. I didn't mean it to sound that way, but as the retrograde gets started, it's moving through Pisces this time. So from March 5th to 28th of 2019, the retrograde will occur fully to the Pisces portion of the sky, which means we're going to feel all those technology glitches and other issues in a very Piscean way. And I'm going to go through all of the zodiac signs so you know what to expect. But Pisces overall rules the imagination, the subconscious, dreams. Has anyone been having kind of wacky dreams at all lately? And has anybody, or had memories coming up? One of my friends said that she dreamed about an ex last night. I mean, hey, that can happen all the time. But, my daughter had a weird nightmare the other night about me. Pisces can rule the things that we are worried about, but we're not aware of it. So there may be some parts of your life where you're feeling like, I don't know if, am I thinking about this person because there's actually something wrong, or is it that maybe I have something I need to say to them, but if you do find somebody popping into your dreams and people are saying they're having wacky dreams, yes, I'm seeing it on both platforms, then check in with them. Just say, hey, now, likely, because Pisces is very sort of enchanting and multi-layered, likely it's a symbolic dream, not a literal one, but, see if you can do a little journaling, maybe free writing, think of the person, or meditate, or set an intention before you go to sleep to, if there's an issue that isn't resolved in your life, then maybe, you can actually tell your subconscious, hey, my intention as I sleep is to have this worked out. Maria dreamed about a dentist. Caitlin is dreaming about lots of flamingos. Gosh, I wish I understood how to interpret that, but maybe it sounds like you need to be a little more flamboyant and fun and bring a little pink into your life. Someone feels connected to their purpose more. Cool. That's a good thing. Now, retrograde, the prefix re, means to go back. Some of you guys know this, but let's just cover it anyway. So you may want to, with Pisces ruling the imagination and creativity, and also compassion and forgiveness, this is a really good time to do some closure work with anyone that you feel that you are a little on the outs with, or to connect to an old creative project that you've put on the back burner. Listening to music or looking at art or looking at old photos from your childhood could stimulate some important processors. You want to get your subconscious processing any stuck emotions and working to bring those things from the unconscious into the conscious, into your awareness where you can deal with them. So flamingos, someone says, let loose and have fun. Yeah. I mean, I love flamingos. Dreamed that my new guy was driving a brand new yellow truck. By the way, I've yet to meet new guy. Well, Pisces could be giving you a little flash, a little psychic flash. I highly recommend recording what your mind shows you during Mercury retrograde, because it actually could be a psychic clue with the retrograde happening in Pisces. Now, we're doing a little retrograde special, by the way. We decided it's time we have a Mercury retrograde survival guide. So we put one together for you guys. And the link to it is astrostyle.com/MercuryRx. And we're having a flashback sale, not a flash sale. It's a little pun there. Haha, Mercury retrograde pun. Gotta get the humor while you can. But it's normally $9.99, but we're giving it to you for $4.99. And it's an awesome PDF that has journaling prompts and some rituals you can do with crystals and essential oils. Our friend Contessa Create, who gives me all these oils all the time, she gave specific ones for Mercury retrograde. And then some crystals. I have my selenite chunk and rose quartz here. And if you really want some Mercury protection and a great deal, we have a bundle too. Now, how many of you guys have our 2019 planner, our horoscope guide? It's got all the most important dates for every zodiac sign. Well, we are bundling that with our Mercury Retrograde guide and our compatibility guide, all the PDF digital versions only, how to get along with anyone, yes, even that person, for $19.99, because this is going to help you plan and read how to deal with Mercury and to know when all the other upcoming retrogrades are. And this one is the 7 secrets of how to get along with anyone based on the distance between your signs. There's 7 possible angles of compatibility in astrology. So in those 7 angles is encoded the dynamic between you and another person. So, you probably read a lot about, oh, I'm an earth sign, I should be with another earth sign, it's going to be easy. Ooh, I just looked at my clock, it's 1:11, a little ping from the universe for us all. But you hear these sort of basic astro hacks about getting along with people. And while it may be, there may be some truth in it, like I'm a fire sign, I'm a Sagittarius. When I'm around another fire sign like Aries and Leo, it is easy to just get into that same flow. But easy isn't always good. And that's also the opportunity of Mercury retrograde too. Sometimes the people that push our buttons or challenge us or piss us off are the ones that are our greatest teachers that we can learn the most from. And that's detailed in How to Get Along with Anyone, but it's also the message of Mercury. Mercury is the messenger planet, the winged messenger in mythology. So when Mercury goes backwards, it's like, hey, don't shoot the messenger. Don't overlook those lessons. I've got Mercury retrograde in my 4th house, which is family, moms especially. And well, like clockwork, my mom called me at 9 a.m. right as I was sitting down to get some work done and, had some stressful thing to share. And did I fall prey to Mercury retrograde gearing up? Yes, I did. I lost, I was very impatient with her and I was just like, oh, what? I can't deal with this. I don't know what to do. Da, da, da. And then my dad called me back and lectured me. So I was like, okay, there's Mercury reminding me just not to react, respond instead of react, as our friend Tiffany likes to say, and to just really, I'm looking at what people are writing here, just to literally like breathe, think. My mom, maybe it was like a little, there's some family stuff that we have to deal with. Maybe my mom is going to be that messenger of it, but not to get upset with her. It's really not her fault. So if you find yourself snapping at people, also my daughter, she was annoying me on the way to school today, just being kind of so like airy that she even forgot to close the door and it's the middle of winter. So think about the people that are irking you and pause and breathe. So let's go through the signs, because I know that's what you guys want to know. Now, someone asked about the shadow after I covered it, but I want to give you the shadow dates. Let me just find those on my computer just to make sure I give you the exact correct one. So what the shadow means in Mercury retrograde is that it's the period before and after the retrograde that we feel the effects already kind of warming up. So I think I have them in a very handy spot, but let's see. Mercury retrograde. Okay, I think I'm coming. Nope, it's in this one. I put it in a Slack thread with our editorial team. Well, darn it. Okay, one more place to check, because I want to give you guys those dates unless somebody has them. I think it was like February 19th it started, and then it might have been earlier than that, and then April 16th, which is kind of like, oh God. But the shadow period is sort of like when you've been given a shot of anesthesia and you start kind of fading to black, and then And then when it wakes up and you're like groggy and you're like, okay, what just happened there? So it's a little bit of an adjustment. Okay, Mercury shadow. No, I will get that for you guys before the end of this live stream. Let's get into the let's get into the signs. Someone says she thinks the shadow is 220. It's like, I know where I put it. All right, I'm just going to Google this. Mercury retrograde. Shadow 2019. Okay. Here it is. Okay. You can't stop my Scorpio moon on a mission here. So, yes, February 19th till yesterday was the beginning shadow, and then March 29th to April 16th. Okay. Is the shadow afterwards. So what's ahead for today till the 28th? Do we have any Aries here? Talking to you. Aries, so Mercury retrograde in Pisces is in your 12th house. So that's the Pisces ruled house of the chart. And so everything that I just talked about before, where things feel a little foggy and fuzzy, life is but a dream, things are a little surreal, you're going to feel that with extra strength. Mercury on the 12th retrograde is a lot of memories. The 12th house is about closure, endings, a subconscious healing, really a time to slow down, not something that I know Aries really like to do. Slow down. It's also a really big deal because right as Mercury goes retrograde into your 12th house of closure, Uranus is leaving your sign, and it's been there since 2011. So Aries, a lot of change to integrate this week. I mean, you just finished this 8-year cycle of having Uranus once in a lifetime shake up your entire life and your sign and your identity and your conception of who you are, all of that stuff. It's like, I think about Lady Gaga, who's an Aries, as like the poster child, because she really started to get big in 2011 when Uranus went into Aries. She's, and look at how she's reinvented herself throughout. I mean, she had the meat dress phase. She had the Tony Bennett kind of jazz standards phase. She had the stage, the Star is Born phase, and she ends Uranus and Aries like with this incredible like moment at the Grammys. Like, how many people watched that video of her and Bradley Cooper singing to each other like 50 times? Guilty. Just can't stop watching their Aries Capricorn chemistry. So she's kind of the poster child for what just happened to you. Like, whoa, did I get abducted by aliens a couple times and then come back around? So, and look, there might be a part of your life as an Aries that's ending now. Aaliyah saying she's feeling the feels. Yeah, the 12th house is very emotional, very sentimental and nostalgic, and also a great time to stop, reflect, and, bring on the gratitude. So, like, whatever happened, good, bad, hard, whatever, just let it just integrate into your system here. If there's someone you need to forgive or release spiritually, do a little cord cutting. You may definitely want to use our crystal and essential oil rituals in the Mercury retrograde guide. So, but also sometimes you need to forgive yourself. So, even though Aries are very confident, when they beat themselves up, they're not so kind to themselves. So really just be nice to Aries, be gentle with yourself and everyone else, and maybe pick up a creative pursuit, something that really taps your right brain would be really healing for you. Thank you, Maria, for finding those facts for me. I love it. You post on Facebook the Mercury shadow period to the exact moment. So really appreciate that. Hi, all you guys jumping into. So country name. I'm just looking in here. Okay. So Tauruses, you're getting the baton passed to you from Aries. So if you're a Taurus, today and tomorrow are hugely momentous days. Now, Mercury is retrograde in your 11th house, which is about teamwork, technology, friends, community. You may want to look at the people you surround yourself with, because Mercury retrograde is a really good time to review your inner circle. There was the Virgo businessman, Jim Rome, who says you are the 5 people you spend the most time around, or your net worth is the average of theirs, I think, was what it was. But there's some definitely truth in that. So if you're hanging around a bunch of brokers, sorry, censored for Mercury. No, I'm kidding. Well, it's time to get your Taurus on there and be around those people that never mind what's in their bank account, but what is in their character. Are they supporting you? Are they uplifting you? Are they helping you level up? Are they holding you to be your highest self? Because Uranus, the pioneering, trailblazing, revolutionary leader is in your sign starting tomorrow until April 2026. So I happen to be married to a double Taurus. So I'm always keenly aware of what's happening to that sign. And I've watched him through these since 2011. Our daughter was born in October 2010, and that was a real turning point. If you're a Taurus, you had Uranus and Aries in your 12th house. It's been a period of really feeling lost for a lot of you, just lost in kind of a cool way. I mean, he's had some interesting businesses, and out of it has emerged that he has become an expert in 3D printing, which is so Uranus, because it's really about technology and innovation and what's next. And Taurus is about things, objects, the material world. So in some way, your job is going to be to bring consciousness and innovation to our world. I just spent some time with one of our awesome readers who I saw on the news and followed her and found out she was a fan. Her name is Alexandria Villasenor. And if you haven't heard of her, you probably will soon. She's a 13-year-old Taurus who's been sitting outside of the UN every Friday, boycotting school in the name of getting world leaders to prioritize climate change. And she's created a march, a US strike for climate change, a climate strike that's spread all over the US and worldwide on March 15th. So definitely do some Googling on her. We also mentioned her in our March monthly overview. So another example of an amazing Taurus who's going to be shaking up the world. So even if you're just shaking up your corner of the world, Taurus, this is the time to do it. So with Mercury retrograde in your 11th house, and those of you guys who are following along who know your birth chart, and you know that Mercury is going to be in your natal house. I'm basing these predictions are based on your sun sign, but if you know your birth chart, there's a different system for interpreting. So I will say the house of every sign as I go, so you can listen along and apply it to the houses of your birth chart if you happen to be a good astro geek who knows their stuff. So for Tauruses or anyone with Mercury retrograde in the 11th house, do a look-see at your circle, the people in there. Are they going to be coming along for the ride? It's also an important time to protect your technology. Hold off on buying new stuff if you can. Be careful what you share online, and consider reconnecting or making amends with old friends, or just moving on from some groups. You're such a loyal sign, but you can't be friends with some people forever. If they're bringing you down, keep it moving and put your energy into the people that are really, bringing you up. So Gemini, if we have any Geminis here, Mercury is retrograde in your 10th house. So anyone who has a 10th house retrograde, this is relevant for you too. So The 10th house is about career, boundaries, priorities, authority figures. It has to do with men, fathers, males. So those are all the areas of your life that can be affected by Mercury. And for you as a Gemini, Mercury is your ruling planet. So you may feel its backward motion more than others. So you want to really make sure you're not overextending yourself or scattering yourself. It's funny. I was just talking to a Gemini yesterday who was thinking about taking this big mastermind course, and she's also getting married this year. She was like, I don't know, maybe I'm doing too much. So yes, Gemini, you are doing too much. Don't take the course because you've got Jupiter in your marriage house this year. So we're not calling off the wedding, that's for sure. So, so Geminis, like, take a look at what you have committed yourself to. Geminis tend to overextend. They take on too many obligations because you're a juggler. You don't want to just be in one place. You love to have a lot of irons in the fire. That's what gives you life. But look, pick the one or two that are really going to get you the most ROI right now, because otherwise you're going to be dropping those balls. So, and Uranus is leaving your 11th house of friends and groups and moving into your 12th house of mysticism. So the unlikely, perhaps, mystics for the next 7 years are going to be the Geminis. It's going to be really interesting to see what you do with that, because with your logical and even skeptical brain, going into these esoteric waters, you may emerge with some really powerful writings and teachings. So definitely looking forward to that. So let's see. Oh, and good question. Someone's asking, would this apply to the rising sign too? Possibly. I have a video on our YouTube channel. If you're not following us on there, we're AstroTwins as well. It's called Should I Read My Rising Sign Horoscope? So I have mixed feelings about that, because the system that we use for these sun sign horoscopes is based on the assumption that every house, every one of the 12 houses, is the same size. But if you look at your actual birth chart, if you were born close to the equator, that's likely. But if you were born, far above or below, the houses in your chart can be tiny and then big. So that whole theory of reading your rising sign horoscopes breaks down pretty quickly. Read it with something of a grain of salt. I really more recommend doing your birth chart. And in that video, I show how to do that, and then how to do what's called a transit chart, where you can see exactly where Mercury will be traveling through your chart. So you'll know the house, you won't have the guesswork. And then you can really plot that better. So, because we want you to be as accurate as possible when you're dabbling in the astro land, okay? That's become like a real popular thing. Oh, read your rising sign, read your moon sign. It's like before you know it, you've got conflicting advice. You don't know what to believe. Astrology is becomes this overwhelming full-time job every month. No, we don't want that, okay? So we write our horoscopes and give these predictions based on your sun sign, which is your zodiac sign, or the sign you read, okay? And the rest, we've got you covered. We've got advanced trainings for all of those things. We're going to be doing more and more of those. And I hope that clears that up a little bit. So let's move on to Cancer. Let's see, someone's feeling controlled. Okay, yeah. Someone's saying, yeah, they're reading too many. So good. I unburden you from turning astrology, which is supposed to be fun, pleasurable, and informative, from turning it into a full-time job, okay? No fear. We're not doing fear. This is why we're doing this live stream right as Mercury is going retrograde today. And that's why we have our Mercury Retrograde bundle special at astrostyle.com/MercuryRx, because it's very much proactive and empowering. This is a time that you can really, I think of the Mercury retrograde times as a quarterly review period. We can really stop and integrate the lessons, and we're always going. You don't get to pause. So you really get a chance to stop and take in, like, what am I even doing? Do I need to correct my course? Do I need to recalibrate? So consider it an opportunity to do that. Slow down. So Emma's saying, I'm a Cap and my Mercury is Capricorn. Does that mean I'm fracked? Nobody is fracked, okay? To reiterate what I'm saying. But you may feel Mercury, wherever it is in your chart, double strength. So it just means you've got a double dose of something. You just double dose the prevention too. You go, all right, I'm going to really watch that area. I'm going to isolate that area. Like if you had a weak muscle and you're doing physical therapy, or you wanted to build up your quads before beach season or whatever, you would isolate that muscle and work on it. So like, okay, Emma, whatever Capricorn is feeling, and we'll get to that, you're going to want to really make sure that you double down on that prevention and strengthening. Okay, I sound like strengthens and prevents. Sounds like a commercial. But so Cancers, you have Mercury retrograde in your 9th house, which has to do with travel, expansion, honesty. So if you're going to be coming out of that shell with the 9th house, truth telling during Mercury retrograde, be careful with that, you know. For Cancers, it's really, you know, it's great when you speak up for yourself. We want to hear what you think, but sometimes when you finally let it come out, it comes with that crab claw, with that deadly pinch, and we don't want that. So please be extra careful. If you're going to serve up the spiked truth serum, you want to make sure that you don't drop a little poison in there, okay? Because that's going to come back to bite you. And if you are traveling, then, you know, maybe, you know, Cancers are kind of, you know, frugal, but sometimes that travel insurance or that $30 airline insurance policy that allows you to cancel at any time without losing your ticket, yeah, you might actually want to buy that this time. Really good news for Cancer is that Uranus is leaving your career house tomorrow. So for the last 8 years, Uranus has been going all over the map, revolutionizing your career path and your goals and your purpose. Pretty exciting. Like one of our Cancer friends, Tracy, who's a photo retoucher, launched an amazing vegan, cruelty-free, bee-free lipstick line called Cupid and Psyche. So she's a great example of what Uranus in the career house did for Cancers, because, you know, she always worked. She used to have a photo retouching business doing wedding photos, and it was very hard on her. She was amazing at it. She did my wedding photos, but she really had this passion for animal protection. And, you know, she learned how to hand pour and took her artistic abilities to that and really stuck with it. And right now, as Uranus is leaving her career house, her 10th house, she is having her lipsticks in one of Nordstrom's pop-in shops coming up, I believe, in Seattle, I think. So I'm really proud of her. But I think that's an excellent example of what Cancers went through. You were pushed to find your authenticity and your voice and to get creative, get out of that corporate box, and really let yourself experiment with your passions. So now with Mercury retrograde in the 9th house, there might be a lot to really think over and integrate. You don't want to rush into your next move. Be like, okay, how can I take what I learned from that and really like elevate it and expand it and amplify it out in the world? What is my bigger message and platform? So do some soul searching on that. If you're a Cancer or you have Mercury retrograde going through your 9th house of your chart. So Leos, how about our Leos? And if you're asking about your sign, I just want to let you know I'm going through them in order from Aries to Pisces. So if you missed yours, you can watch the replay. And if you didn't hear yours yet, stay tuned because I'm going in order of the zodiac. So Leos, Mercury retrograde is in your 8th house, which is, the eighth house is a very intense area. It's, it's about trust and bonding and merged finances, sex, relationships, jealousy, all those emotions. So, suspicion and resentment even. So if there's something that you haven't voiced or feeling you've been suppressing, it might just come up, and it could come up in a really intense way if you're not proactive about it. So for Leos, I really recommend just doing some soul searching. Is there something that you're feeling resentful about that's like a little pebble, because it can become a rolling stone of rage if you don't talk about that. There might be some financial things, especially related to investments, inheritances, shared property, legal stuff, or maybe there's just some like legal or tax things you need to take care of. Tax season is coming up, and there might be a few little extra wrinkles for you. So don't put that off to the last minute. So Elizabeth said, catching you at nap time is comparable to nirvana. Pisces. Well, if a Pisces thinks that this is nirvana at nap time, then I have been complimented like no other. So thank you. I'm so glad you're here, Elizabeth. So, being born with Mercury retrograde as I was makes me talk a little slower. So I'm probably putting you in a little bit of a trance. I used to get made fun of for that as a kid, but sometimes people now say, I just could listen to you all day. But for others, I apologize if I don't give you the TV talk show, yada, yada, boom, quick speaking, but Mercury retrograde made me do it. So, so anyway, for the Leos, I'm just looking at that. What do you think about holding off? Yes, somebody asked a great and timely question about contracts, because I mentioned that. So what do I think about the advice of holding off on signing contracts until after Mercury retrograde? Again, is that really realistic for us? Not always. Sometimes you have to do it. So just check it over twice, thrice, as many times as you need to. Mistakes can be made, details missed, fine print. If you don't have to sign something during Mercury retrograde, don't do it. But sometimes you do. I signed a lease on an apartment that I've had for, almost 18 years during Mercury retrograde. But I was about to sign a lease on another place, changed my mind, and then took that one. So it was like a second choice. So for Leos, you may have like something like that come back around, like a place you wanted to live, or somebody may owe you money, or you might owe them money. So in short, any paperwork or documents, Mercury rules information, contracts. So those all need to be really well inspected at any time, but during Mercury retrograde, all the more so. Now, Leos, or maybe some tempting exes who show up in your sphere because Mercury is retrograde in your 8th house, of merging and sex and intimacy. So, proceed with caution, even more than usual with that, because it could be, it might just be time to close the door, but maybe you want to have one last encounter. Ooh, we won't judge. Just splashed myself, had to cool down a little there. Sorry, Leos. Thank you, guys. Alex says you somehow make the Leo retro sound okay. Yeah, I really hope it is. I'm trying to give you some positive visualization. Look, just expect to protect. Jealousy might flare, resentment, intensity. My mom's a Leo, and she called me about a legal document, and then that's her Mercury retrograde. And then my mom related Mercury retrograde. We had a moment, but we'll go back and we'll make it all right. So funny, huh? It's already showing up. So Virgos, you have Mercury retrograde in your 7th house, or anyone with a 7th house retrograde. Oh, and I just want to say to Leos, Uranus is going into your career house. So this is your time to take the world by storm. So Uranus in your career house till April 2026. Show the world what leadership looks like. I mean, Leos are some of the best, most amazing world leaders. inspirational people. Obama's a Leo. If you don't like him, I do, and I ain't afraid to say it. So just whoever your Leo role model is, make like them, because we need you, Leos. We need your courage and fierceness and strength. And for Cancers, you have Uranus going into your 11th house of technology and society and innovation. So you're going to be coming up with some cool stuff. So sorry, I skipped over that. Wanted to go back to that. Now to Virgo. Virgo, you have Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is your ruling planet too, you and Gemini, so you're going to feel it as well. You have it retrograde in your 7th house of relationships, so you need to rebalance those, make sure you've got an equal give and take coming up. You really need to be extra mindful about contracts and just what you promise, what your expectations of people are, and making sure those are clearly delineated. Just because in your mind you think it's common sense that people would do things this way, no, it does not work that way. It never works that way, but it really doesn't work that way now. So yeah, and you are going to be, Nikki is asking, is there going to be less retrograde for 2019? Because 2018 was on fire for you. Well, we had Venus and Mars retrograde last year. That was a real pain in the ass. Let's just call it what it was. And that coincided with Uranus and Taurus last year for that brief period. So yeah, this has got to be better. But for Virgos, I think you're going to be so glad to get Uranus out of your 8th house, which is super intense. You have had a real mind, body, soul relationship revolution since 2011. Very powerful, very much connecting to your soul's purpose. A lot of real deep soul searching, bringing that into what you do. But you've kind of had enough, right? It's getting a little dark in there. So I know a lot of Virgos have been like in the depths since Uranus went back into Aries from November until 6th, until tomorrow. So Uranus is going to be moving into your 9th house of global travel, expansion, connecting with people from around the world. So Virgo, as Mercury is going retrograde in your relationship house, and you're reviewing the people that you want to have in your inner circle or close one-on-ones with, this really amazing, inspiring, authentic Uranus transit starts tomorrow, lasts for 7 years. I'm really excited to see what Virgos create, because the 9th house also rules publishing, and Virgos are some of the best writers out there. So I think some really amazing written or spoken works are going to come from the Virgos of the world. And we also need your trailblazing ways. Bernie Sanders is a Virgo, and he was just in Brooklyn, and he's running for president again. So, the last time he ran was not really so aligned for the Virgos. And this time, a retrograde is also a second time around. So let's see who Bernie chooses as his running mate. That's a great example of how Mercury retrograde could affect Virgos in their partnership houses. So let's see running mates. Like, who does he surround himself with? Like, who does Bernie bring on board? And what's his bigger vision for the world and for world politics? That's a Virgo question. Like, how will you impact the world? It is really that serious, and connecting with people outside of your comfort zone. Okay, so Libra, Mercury is retrograde in your 6th house, which is the house of health, fitness, organization, staying on top of the details. Like I said, my Libra daughter could barely remember to even close the door this morning on the way out. So you want to really keep your wits about you. You can already be a little bit foggy or forgetful sometimes. I'm not saying you're not sharp, because I know some very sharp Libras, but the details may get fuzzy. Also, do not apologize for, refusing the hug or the handshake from that person who's coughing around you, because you're going to be extra susceptible. Mercury rules like airborne contact and hands. So wash your hands a lot, step back, like put some humidity and essential oils in the air, and a humidifier or diffuser, because you are going to be susceptible to those airborne germs. Now Uranus has been in your opposite sign in your relationship house for the last 8 years. So, a lot of, I think about Libra, Kim Kardashian and her 72-day marriage in 2011 and her up and down, whatever, all over the place adventures with Kanye West, it seems like. So talk about a Uranian figure to marry, someone very iconoclastic. So now Uranus is going to go into your 8th house. A lot of spiritual, sexual, financial revolution coming your way, like getting in touch with that divine spirit. I know a Libra who's going to do an ayahuasca ceremony soon. I know another one who was thinking about having an open relationship, which is not very Libra-like, but with Uranus there, independence, liberty, breaking the rules and rewriting them could be in the cards. So really check the details, edit everything, Libra, make sure you've got it all. Before you hit send or publish or post, make sure everything is tight, okay? And just, don't multitask too much. You could be accident prone otherwise, mistake prone. Slow down. You don't usually have to tell a Libra that, but right now we do. So Scorpios, Mercury is going retrograde in your 5th house, which is about love, romance, drama, passion, reactions. It's that raw, self-expressive part of the chart. So watch that temper, watch the reactions, watch the responses. And, while Scorpios don't always like attention, this Mercury retrograde thing can bring out some, a little bit of attention whoring in the wrong way. There is such a thing as bad publicity for you now, Scorpio. So if you're going to do a big debut of anything, you might wait until after Mercury goes direct March 28th, or at least do a soft launch, because you want to really make sure that your messaging is as impactful as it could be. Now, you also, an old love or flame or an old romantic, conflict may arise again. So handle that with care, not with your scorpionic nature, which would be either to incinerate them or, God only knows what kind of whatever you put down on those people when you let them back in. Camila says, no more 5th house action. I can't take it. Listen, it can be great. It's a great time to reconnect with your glamorous side, with your romantic side. Maybe, you met someone that you liked and you hear from them again. I know someone who had Mercury retrograde in the 5th, and she had swiped someone away on Tinder, but he somehow found a way to get to her again. Well, let's just fast forward. They're married and have a kid because she gave him another chance. So maybe someone you wrote off is worth a chance. And Uranus is going to be in your relationship house tomorrow. So you could be attracted to a completely different person. Maybe someone you weren't attracted to even a month ago. Suddenly you're like, actually, I thought that person was kind of weird or not my type, but maybe I should give them another look. And that also goes for people that are interested in doing business. So, for Scorpio, it's 5th house Mercury retrograde, and Uranus going into your 7th house of partnerships, leaving your health house. So if you've had some ups and downs with your health and broken bones in the last 8 years, or just trouble with employees because helpful people are ruled by the 6th house Scorpio, you can put all that administrative drama behind you and go find some really interesting characters to hang out with. Sagittarius, my fellow Sages, Mercury is retrograde in our 4th house of home, family, women, emotions, moods. We could be a little moody biatch in the next few weeks. So I already was this morning, I confess. So be nice. Don't let that Sag tiger out of the cage. It is a great time to reconnect with your femininity, getting those sort of flowy, if you were ever connected to it in the first place. I joke that, Sages, we're not always the most feminine side. We're very fiery, but who cares, But, connect to it. Just let yourself, really the best way to connect to it is just by slowing down. And I'm not talking about male, female. I'm not genderizing astrology. I'm talking about yin energy. So if you're a Sag, invite a little more of that in. Or if you have Mercury retrograde in your 4th house, like redecorating your home, finishing a decor project, picking up a writing or creative project, reading some books you have let pile up, like just relaxing and enjoying, reconnecting with family. I'm actually going to visit my parents with my daughter. It's very fourth house in a couple weeks. I hope that goes okay with Mercury though. But going back to your old hometown, childhood friends, don't neglect your self-care more than anything. I actually pulled this shirt out of, I haven't worn it. I got it like several years ago from Calypso, RIP to that brand, a favorite. So I wear something a little more flowy and Pisces-like. So you may find yourself reaching for some older clothes or vintage pieces, or doing a clothing swap with friends, pulling out an old recipe you haven't tried. And Uranus is leaving your fifth house of love and intensity and reactions. A lot of excitement in the last 8 years. It's been in your house of fame and creativity. We have definitely grown our brand and profile since then, just from our publishing, social media. It's been really fun and exciting. And now Uranus for Sagittarius is going into the sixth house of health and fitness. And, just, it's funny because I literally, have like to do like a short-term course of something that's sort of technological health-wise starting tomorrow, which is really weird. And I found it the last time. So I'm all good, I'm fine, but a health treatment. So Sages may find yourselves tapping into innovations around fitness and health, getting interested in maybe getting fit or paying attention to your well-being again, maybe if you have a business, revamping your staff or getting better at working with systems, really just making sure everything is running smoothly, but using innovation to help you. Now, Capricorns, I know some of you, Maria have been, and a couple others, Emma, have been waiting patiently for this forecast. So Mercury retrograde for you is a little double dose because it's in your third house of communication, writing, friends, neighborhoods, siblings. So I think I saw, Maria, that you said you had to pick up some writing again. So if you have a book that you put aside, or a blog, or a project, or teaching a course, something like that you've wanted to do, definitely pull it off the back burner. Anything that you want to say that you haven't been saying, you may need to have those conversations during Mercury retrograde, but really, again, proceed with caution. Make sure the other person really is ready. You don't want to just call up and be like, we need to talk, and unload on them. No. You need to just make sure they are in a good space for it, even if it means you have to wait or do it another day. We can get all fired up. I got to get this out of my system now. I can't. No, do not do that. And really make sure that you set up some ground rules before any difficult talks. You talk, they talk, agreement to not interrupt, all those sorts of extra special communication, active listening. Do a little Googling on that. Use those tools now. Now, Uranus, you will also be happy, is leaving your fourth house of home and family. A lot of Capricorns moved. I have a Capricorn friend who moved. The fourth house rules home, mother, family. She moved out of her home of 25 years so that her mother could come live with her. They ended up not getting along, classic Uranus. And then the mom moved out, but then she lives in a new town. But it ended up being a really good thing. So if you're a Capricorn and your home situation or your foundation has been really in flux for the last 8 years, that's going to change now. I know another Capricorn who just moved to Hawaii after wanting to do that for years. So the next 7 years are going to be about love and romance and authenticity and creativity. So very exciting. So, Aquarius, Uranus is your ruling planet, so tomorrow is also a huge day for you. Now, Mercury is going to be retrograde in your second house of money, work, priorities, daily routine. So you really want to make sure you don't overbook yourself at work, take on too much, keep the money management, watch out for those online financial apps, etc. Change and strengthen any banking passwords. Make sure you really communicate well with your coworkers. Back up all your work files because the office server could go down. And just try to streamline, take it easy and slow. Only a couple of things every day can get done well. So prioritize. And Uranus is going to be going into your home part of your chart, leaving your communication zone. So you also may move, start a family. Uranus rules technology. There may be IVF or adoption on the radar for some Aquarians. Consider all options if that's what you're looking at. There may be an empty nest or some kind of changes in the next 7 years that are really just remain flexible. If you're an Aquarius yet, you will feel Uranus's move as your ruling planet too. So last but not least, Pisces. I'm trying to get us all in an hour. So because Instagram is going to shut off after an hour on me, I believe. I want to get everybody covered. So Pisces, you've got Mercury retrograde in your sign, your first house. If you have Mercury retrograde in your first house too, don't mess with your look. Watch, this is not the time to experiment with trends. The first house rules trends and new things. Oh, you think you'd be adorable in a pixie cut or a bob or a lob? Can we find that out in April? Can we use one of those little tester things online, those little avatars to confirm? Don't go shopping. Don't go shopping. And at least save the receipts. Because if you don't, social media will, which is a warning not to overdo it with the selfies either, okay, Pisces? So really, take a low profile. Your messages may be misunderstood. Your words could be misconstrued. And with Uranus in the mix and Mercury, you don't want that happening publicly online either. So really pick your battles and do some behind the scenes work if you can. Get your message clarified and tightened up. And especially because Uranus is leaving your money house. So yay, financial flux is ending tomorrow. After 8 years, you've learned to really live with those ups and downs and those tides, to not be so dependent on stuff. But now it's going into your communication house. So you may have a message or a book in you or something you want to share with the world. Oh, good, Allison, I saved you from cutting your hair. Don't do it. You heard it here. Also, go easy on any injectables, anything. Just the first house has to do with the face and hair. So easy on yours. Just, you're beautiful. Just look in the mirror and tell yourself that, okay? So yes, that is the zodiac, Mercury retrograde. Please come to astrostyle.com/MercuryRx. Grab our Mercury retrograde essential guides. You can have all the journal prompts, and we have a pre-flight checklist. Like literally, you can take it through your house and go like, check, check. I mean, everything from making sure that your cords, your power cords are properly put in surge protectors. Any Mercury retrograde protection you need, you can get that, or you can get our bundle with our 2019 book and How to Get Along with Anyone compatibility guide, that and the Mercury retrograde guide for $19.99. This thing alone is $24.95 normally. So you're getting 3 books for $19.99. And that's just during Mercury retrograde because we need all the help we can get. So go forth, protect, inspect, reflect, and we will see you guys, soon. I'm sure we'll do another live during the retrograde. We'll check in on you, see how everybody's doing. So thank you so much for being on. It's been awesome hanging with you. And we made it. No issues with the tech so far. Fingers crossed for all the saving that I'm going to do now. 1 minute to go. I'll talk to you later. Bye.